My beloved brothers and sisters, today I want to talk about something that may sound surprising at first. Stop being kind to everyone. Yes, you heard that right. Islam teaches compassion, mercy, and good character, but it does not teach blind kindness. There's a wisdom in Islam that many overlook. Not everyone deserves your energy, your time, or your forgiveness. Sometimes, being too kind to the wrong people is not a sign of piety, it's a sign of naivety, and Islam calls us to be wise. So let's understand what our faith truly says about kindness. When it's a virtue and when it becomes a weakness. Islam commands justice before kindness. This principle is deeply embedded in the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, and often we're taught to be kind no matter what. To smile, to give, to forgive, and while these are indeed noble values, they are not absolute when justice is at stake. Islam does not promote a blind form of kindness that compromises fairness or dignity. Instead, it instructs us to uphold justice even if it goes against our own interests, our loved ones, or even the people we deeply care about. Kindness in Islam is a beautiful trait, but it must never be at the cost of allowing wrong to continue or enabling those who oppress others. Allah says in the Quran, "O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm in justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it be against yourselves or parents and relatives." Shura An-Nisa 4:135. This verse makes it clear justice comes first. We are not asked to be kind in a way that blinds us to the truth or prevents us from taking a stand. In fact, sometimes kindness, when misplaced, becomes injustice itself. If you continue to be kind to someone who is toxic, manipulative, or abusive, you're not helping them, and you're not helping yourself. You're letting injustice grow under the disguise of goodness. The Prophet was known for his compassion, but he also spoke firmly when the truth was at stake. He forgave many, but he also distanced himself from those whose hearts were corrupt. He never allowed kindness to override truth. He never allowed politeness to silence justice. When he dealt with people who were unjust, he confronted them with wisdom and courage. That is what Islam teaches us. You can't keep being kind to people who wrong others and claim you're doing the Islamic thing. You must ask, is your kindness promoting justice, or is it avoiding confrontation? Many people confuse Islamic character with passiveness. They believe being a good Muslim means never saying no, always pleasing others, and keeping silent to maintain peace. But real peace cannot exist without justice. Real goodness cannot exist where truth is sacrificed. Sometimes you will be called to say a hard word, to walk away, or to speak up against someone close to you. That doesn't mean you're not kind. It means you're living by Islamic justice. And that is higher than fake harmony. This is especially important in our communities, where people hide their fear of conflict behind religious kindness. But Islam doesn't teach avoidance. It teaches accountability. When we continue to be kind to someone who is harming others, through lies, manipulation, or oppression, we're not just being overly nice, we're being unjust, because our silence or soft approach tells them it's okay. It allows them to continue. Islam doesn't want that. Islam wants you to be strong, fair, and aware of when your kindness is no longer kindness but complicity. The Prophet set boundaries. And so should we. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the Prophet's character is the belief that he was endlessly tolerant of everyone, regardless of how they treated him. While it is true that the Prophet was incredibly merciful, it is equally true that he established strong and clear boundaries with those who disrespected, harmed, or betrayed trust. He was not a people pleaser. He did not allow himself to be taken advantage of. His kindness was not weakness. His mercy was never at the expense of dignity, truth, or justice. There are countless examples in the Seerah where the Prophet drew the line. He forgave when it was wise, but he also confronted when it was necessary. When hypocrites tried to mock him or undermine his mission, he didn't entertain them endlessly. He acknowledged their intentions and handled them with wisdom. He didn't let their negativity drain him or disturb the mission. Fajr, when certain companions crossed the line or acted in a way that went against Islamic values, he corrected them. Sometimes publicly. He didn't allow toxic behavior to hide under the excuse of brotherhood or unity. He taught that unity without truth is not unity, that peace without justice is not peace. He also set personal boundaries. There were people he did not allow into his inner circle. There were individuals he kept at a distance, even though they claimed to be part of the Muslim community. He made it clear that not everyone deserves equal access to your life, your trust, or your emotional energy. Islam teaches us to treat people well, but not to the point where we destroy our own well-being for the sake of pleasing them. Prophet never allowed guilt to force him into relationships or situations that were spiritually or emotionally damaging. His love was guided by wisdom. His mercy was balanced with firmness. In our lives today, many of us are told that being a good Muslim means always saying yes, never drawing the line, and tolerating mistreatment in the name of kindness. But that's not what the Sunnah teaches. If someone is constantly disrespecting you, manipulating you, using your good heart against you, you are not obligated to keep letting it happen. Islam gives you the right to protect your dignity. It encourages you to have a clean heart, but also a clear mind. You can be soft without being weak. You can be humble without being silent. You can forgive someone without letting them walk all over you again. Setting boundaries is not arrogance. It's emotional intelligence guided by faith. The Prophet modeled it for us so we could live with both compassion and clarity. Because without boundaries, kindness becomes a burden. Without limits, even mercy can become a trap. And Islam is not a religion of traps. It is a religion of balance where your emotional health, your spiritual peace, and your dignity are protected. The Prophet did not just teach us how to be kind. He taught us how to be wise with our kindness. Being kind to oppressors is enabling injustice. Islam does not ask you to be kind to someone who uses your kindness as a weapon against others. In fact, the Quran is filled with stern warnings against those who side with the oppressors, even silently. Allah commands us not just to avoid injustice ourselves, but also to stand firmly against it. When we extend kindness to someone who repeatedly harms others, we're not showing good character. We're showing a lack of courage. Islam is not a religion of passive tolerance. It is a religion of action, of standing up, and of protecting the weak from the strong. The Prophet was deeply merciful, yet when faced with oppression, his response was not soft compliance. He opposed the injustices of Quraysh openly. He challenged their corruption, their abuse of the poor, and their lies. He didn't just smile and hope they would change. He confronted their actions with truth and firmness. And when they continued to harm others, he drew clear lines. He prayed for their guidance, but he also protected the Muslims from their harm. He knew that misplaced kindness can reinforce evil. Today, many Muslims confuse being kind with being quiet in the face of wrong. They fear conflict, so they say, "Let's just be kind." But this kindness can sometimes cause more damage than good. If someone is abusing their spouse, stealing from others, spreading lies, or harming the community, and we continue to treat them gently without any accountability, we are helping them continue. We are giving them comfort while they cause chaos. That's not kindness. That's betrayal of justice. And Islam does not permit betrayal of the oppressed. The Quran says, "And incline not toward those who do wrong, lest the fire touch you." Surah Hud 11:11-13. This is a clear warning. Even inclining, even leaning a little, even showing sympathy to those who wrong others can lead us to the punishment of Allah. Because it means we've abandoned the ones who needed our strength. It means we've chosen to stay safe rather than speak out. And in Islam, silence in the face of oppression is not a virtue. It is a failure of faith. Sometimes, the most powerful kindness is the kind that stops someone from harming others. It's telling them, "I will not support your actions. I will not pretend what you're doing is okay. I care about your soul, but I will not comfort your ego." That is the kind of kindness that wakes people up. That is the kind of kindness the Prophet gave to the oppressors of his time. He did not humiliate them, but he did not enable them either. He gave them the truth, even when it hurt. He gave them boundaries, even when they resisted. Because enabling someone's injustice is sharing in that injustice. And that is something no sincere believer wants to carry on the day of judgment.